Welcome to the Celebration of You. I'm your host, Holly Dowling. I'm thrilled to share with you incredible people from all over the world who are living and leading extraordinary lives. From overcoming immense adversity to discovering the secret sauce to leading with courage and grace. Their stories are going to bring you hope and inspiration. Now, let the stories begin. Oh boy, I am so excited about this interview, everybody. For all of you, first and foremost, before I introduce you to this spectacular gift that I feel like my life's been blessed with, I want to pause, as I like to do, and honor and thank all of the amazing people all over the world that continue to listen to this show. And I always say this was a mission put on my heart from above, that there's amazing people's stories, that when they share their story, someone out there in their darkness is given light and given hope. So to every continent, every country, I know I've given that shout out to all the amazing comments on iTunes. I thank you for all of you that take the time to put comments out there. It means a lot to us because it helps us reinforce that this is a mission that we need to keep up. So on that note, so you all know, like my listeners know, that I travel quite a bit and feel very blessed to be a messenger, as I like to say, of things that are very, very passionate to me, which is empowering others and inspiring others. So just recently, a few weeks ago, I was blessed to be in the state of Pennsylvania doing a couple different events. And so I have to tell you that the guest today, it's not often that I walk into a ballroom, whether it's huge with thousands or with hundreds or 50, but I walk in and there's someone there as I'm doing my event that just continues to light up the room. My guest today is this gorgeous, beautiful woman named Nikki, who the moment I saw her sitting in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for Baird Big Annual Women's Event, she lit up the room. And I said, I have to know who this person is. So Nikki Bagby, thank you for sharing your gifts, your light. And I know there's an incredible story that's going to impact lives. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you so much, Holly. As amazing and blessed as you made me just feel, the feeling's mutual. I feel like just meeting you, there was such a connection, and just knowing that there is another person on this earth who has the capability of not only changing lives, but touching them in a way that they become limitless. I just thank you. You're such an amazing woman. So thank you. And I'm so honored that you are having me today.
Well, I thank you, my love. And you know what's great is we know how God works, right? Like when it's like, just be ready, because I always say, pray and get out of our way. You never know who you're going to meet along the. Okay. So where do we start? So I meet you, right? And I have this like, oh my goodness, you're this electric, amazing human being. And then I barely get to talk to you and realize you have this unbelievable story that you have. I told you that day, I choose to not live in woe is me. It's wow is me. And you're like, yes. So I'm thinking we start right now with, will you just tell everybody a little bit about your current world? Tell us what you're doing and what you're passionate about. And then we'll go to the story behind the story. How's that?
So I'm passionate about life. That's what I'll first say. And the most of all, I'm precious about God, about him entrusting me to be a person that have a voice for those who sometimes don't have a voice. So that's the first way I will open up today. Secondly, I am a wife of 23 years. I just celebrated my wedding anniversary on the 12th of November.
Congrats.
Yes, he is one of my friends, and he is somebody that I can't get rid of because I told him halfway through our marriage, I put a chip in him so he can't go anywhere. And he looked at me, he said, I really think you're telling the truth on that. And I'm just kidding. So he is my childhood love. Oh. We also have 6 beautiful children. We had 3 daughters, and then we had 3 sons. And the funny thing about that is the age range of my children are 27, 25, and 23. And then we have 3 darling boys, and they are 19, 17, and 9.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's all take a breath. You have a 27-year-old and a 9-year-old, all with the same husband.
Yes. So I put him on her bed when she was going away to college, when we dropped her off at the dorm. So that's a whole nother story. So I am very passionate about my family, and I'm just so blessed to have such a beautiful family. In my life, As a career-wise, I work for one of the largest healthcare companies in the world. I am a marketing manager for half the state of Pennsylvania, so you can imagine what that looks like. And I am so honored and blessed to have a position that I'm able not only to live out my servicehood, but I am able to connect people with healthcare access where they may not understand what it is or they're very poor, and really help them maneuver through the system. In my role, I'm able to talk to celebrities and the real celebrities who are seniors and our children, right?
Yes.
And I'm just able to create beautiful events around healthcare access. We had a citywide baby shower. We had 900 pregnant women. So you can imagine what that was like
wait
on
a
a
minute.
rainy day.
Wait, Nikki, hold on. I'm having a moment. Did you just say you had a citywide baby shower with 900 pregnant
women? So I must have some serious smoozing power to even ask the university hospital to come up with this, right? And to actually put this on. So this is my world every day. So I'm very honored and privileged to be able to work in a position that I can serve. I also sit on several boards. There's Children's Hospital Philadelphia, Habitat for Humanities, FIG Restoration Corporation, formerly the Mural Arts Program. So my life is a life of service. So I am just so honored. And I feel like I am the little person in this big picture. So I'm just honored to be able to be a voice and also to be a worker. Because talk is cheap.
And that is why, my love, that the moment I met you, the moment I saw you, and you're just lighting up this room, right? There's this energy. If everybody could picture you, like that person that walks into a room and their smile is so electric and they're lighting it up. And then to find out, here's what I don't want anybody to miss. Your life is about service. You put your family first. You have 6 children. Well, well, tell your husband because he'll listen to this. You're a single mother of 7. Ha. But
you know, that is my story.
I love it.
I say that all the time. We are so on one page right now. I said I have 7. He's my oldest child. You understand.
Oh, I love it. Well, and the reality is, look at when anybody says, oh, I don't have enough time. No, meet Nikki. Because not only are you carrying a very, very big title and doing a lot of work in the corporate space, you're choosing to serve and give back at the same time of having a family that's number one. And I know just from the moment I met you and our few minutes to connect, that all of this that goes way back to your childhood. There's a reason you're in this line of work because it's so passionate to you. So will you take us down the journey, my love, to your childhood and those pivotal moments that you would say have so much to do with what you're doing today?
So growing up in a very, very impoverished area, a very, very high crime area, even being 7 years old, I always wanted to find ways, even though I didn't have a whole lot myself, to help others. I remember, trying to make Halloween costumes for people on my block, so that kids couldn't afford, even though they were the horriblest little costumes you ever want to make, right? But I remember collecting, me and my sister, really poor, just making her clothes. And she's always, Nikki, why am I always the one that your experiments? I said, don't worry, you'll be fine. So watching my mother struggle, just trying to maintain a household when she was a single mom, it just started at a very young age. And kind of fast forwarding that and being a young mom myself, what part of the story I did not tell you is that I was a very young mom. We were 17-year-old when we were pregnant with our oldest daughter. And even at a young age, we decided that no matter what the situation was and the environment that we lived in, our children and our situation would change because we had the mindset to not let our society and the things around us that's very close to us, our neighborhood, dictate and regulate who we were at that moment and who we were going to be. So from that, my husband used to call me Save the Children because even when we were very young, on a very small block and our kids were in one room with 5 children in one room and the house was falling apart around us, I always managed to have all the kids in my house. They called me the Pied Piper in the community. And they're like, why are all these kids following you? I said, you know what? Because they love me and I love them. And even living next door to people who were addicted to drugs, and her leaving her kids in the house. And I would kind of break the door open. Please don't tell anybody I am saying that. You don't know where my address is, but used to break in and get the kids out so they can stay with us and give them their first birthday party and make sure they had stuff for themselves when they were, during the holiday seasons and during their birthdays. So I've always been that person. Even at my church in the summertime, they said, Nikki, why do you have 500 kids with you? So I'm walking through the neighborhood and they're like, go with Miss Nikki. She's going to take you somewhere nice for the summertime. So it's just been a part of me because I was that little girl. I was that child that struggled and didn't have anybody sometimes to come over and say, you know what, it's okay, that we're going to make it through this together. So that is kind of my older story. And I've been flying ever since then. My prayer every year is that God, whatever it is that these children in my community need, please supply it. And I'll give you a funny story, and I'll promise I'll let you, because I'm just so excited.
I love it. Keep going. No, I'm loving this.
I remember I had one year, people knew me from the things that I did, and I remember not having a lot. And always what we said to our children is, if God blesses us with anything, He will always provide for us, but let's take care of others first. And they still live their lives that way. So one day we were volunteering, and I said, I really need coats for these babies. The local school, I seen the little kids with jackets and it's 20 degrees outside. So I didn't send them a letter or anything. I get a phone call. She said, "Hi, are you Nikki Bagby?" I said, "I sure am." She said, "I heard you need some coats." She said, "Well, just give me a number." I said, "Well, maybe 50. She said, "Give me a real number." I said, "Well, I honestly need 500 coats." She said, "No problem. Here's an address. I'll see you later." And I'm like, oh God, what is this going to be?
500? You literally said 500 and she said, "No problem." Okay,
and
seriously.
I said, these are going to be some coats that are refurbished. And I just wanted to know. I go to this place, this huge warehouse, and they said, "Are you Nikki Bagby?" I said, "I'm here waving." "You see those 92 pilots? That belongs to you." And I open up the bag of coats. And when I tell you, Holly, they were London fog jackets and coats.
What?
They were
Nikki.
London
Oh my goodness, I'm covered in goosies right now. Oh my goodness.
When I tell you I cried and I just praised and I said, I don't understand why you hear me like you do, but He supplied a need for my community. And I'm telling you, ever since then, everything I needed for a family or a child, people, their hearts, I come around, I said, I must have schmoozing power because I'll start talking and the need is met. So we went from helping maybe a few families, the kids at the school, to now we're celebrating 15 years and helping that in that capacity to serving about 3,000 to 4,000 people just during the Christmas season. We're not going to even talk about throughout the year. So when your heart is to serve others and when you need a resource, God supplies it. So at that time, I really didn't have much. And I'm telling you, Holly, every time I turned around, I went to Children's Place. I don't know if anybody knows that place.
I do.
A really nice clothing store. Nothing that when you don't have a whole lot of money, you can't. I went to volunteer. It was a huge warehouse again, and we were just bagging clothes. She said, "Oh, no, wait." I said, "What's wrong?" "Whatever you see and you can take, you can have it." When I'm telling you, we left there with 50 huge bags of brand new clothes. I cannot tell you. And this has been my story simply because I was serving others. He's been able to help us along the way. So I'm just blessed.
And you know what I love about this story, Nikki? I'm just sitting here in awe. My mouth is dropped. If you could see my face, right? My jaw is like wide open, my chin on my desk almost. And my eyes are closed because I'm actually not surprised, because I truly believe when you are living from the purest place of servanthood and wanting to make a difference in this world, the universe and God opens up and you get flooded with opportunities because it comes, I titled this podcast, by the way, you didn't even know this, because I pray before I interview. Yes. And the words that came to me were angel on assignment.
Oh.
I kid you not. I mean, literally, my producer will see this. And it's, Nikki, you are allowing God to use you and your family. Think about let's just go to the home now. See, for all the parents out there, like, we're not saying you have to be a perfect parent, but what kind of values are you raising your children with? Like, I guarantee you, your children, this is going to be 6 times 3,000 at the rate you're going, right?
So the funny thing is, starting with the little one, so we go back and volunteer at a school that I went to, me and my husband, years ago. And that's where I started this initiative 15 years ago. In our holiday celebration, because we have 5, but that particular one is Save Just One Child. And they're like, well, Nikki, what does that mean? Save just one child. I said, we're not saving one child, but we're doing it one child at a time. So what happens is when you start handling the sources and what that child needs to love, you find that other children start coming around, right? Yes. And that one child becomes 2, and that 2 becomes 10, and that 10 becomes 100. And then you become someone in their life that they look to for care, for love, guidance, and stability, right? And that's all a child needs. So with my little one, every year, he says, Mom, where's my apron? I said, well, my Santa apron. So he's on the stage. He's at the warehouse. He said, Mama, we're loading up today. I said, yeah. I said, I need you. He said, just call me after school, like he has a job. And I'm so he's there. And then my older kids, they're part of my planning committee, wherever they are. Mom, so when we're ready, I got one who's the project manager, the other one who's the host, my baby girl, she does. So it's always part of the family. And when I say God, I said, I look at my children, every one of them in some capacity or their lives or another. They're finding themselves helping others. They're part of another coalition, and they're right by my side when we're planning things to help others. So whether they're speaking to children at schools, whether they're putting together a project for the students, because my daughter has a degree in film and media, my other daughter's communication, my other daughter sings. So it's whatever it is they can do. And my sons love mentoring young men. So whatever it is they can find a space, they're doing it because you're living that example. Yes. Because when they see that you didn't have a lot, but you still made sure that others were taken care of, they're the same way with each other. Yes. It's so amazing that, like, did you call them? We're together on Christmas. So they're like that with one another. I've never seen a bunch of siblings so connected. They don't argue much. They call each other up. They support one another. There is no issues about, I'm not talking to my sister or brother. And if there's one has an issue, they come together as a family, even without their parents.
Oh, now there, my love, that is the glue that makes it stick. So I have to ask you, so this is like, when you think about, I think everybody listening is probably sitting there in their own space right now going, wow, in some ways it's like, am I giving back enough? Am I doing enough to make a difference in other people's lives? And I think the timing of this is unbelievable that I meet you in this last month. I'm interviewing you today. We're going to launch this right after Thanksgiving. So we're in the heart of going from, Thanksgiving, a time of gratitude, right into the holidays, Nikki. So for everybody listening, can you please, and we have listeners all over the world, Nikki, every continent, okay? Countries all over. So for anybody out there, can you share a tip or an idea or some way that if in their heart they're going, what can I go do to make a difference? Will you give us some ideas of what you could do starting tomorrow?
What I always say, do first, find out in your family if there's somebody going through something, right? We get so busy with helping others. The Bible says that love starts in Jerusalem, then it spreads abroad. Because the one thing we don't want to do is be so busy helping others that we don't take care of those who are closer to us. So first, what we say is if there's a need, someone's sick, there's something going on, somebody's going through a hard time, somebody's depressed, just call them up and say, I love you. How can I support you? If there's anything I can do that you need, you don't enable people, but you show people that you love them. So that's what I'll say first. Then we start looking at the people in our neighborhood. If there's any seniors that are homebound, that they don't have many family members, that if they do, they live outside of their state or they live in the next town, find out, knock on Miss Jones' door and say, Miss Jones, how are you today? Have you eaten? Or is there something that you need? Do you need a few minutes to have someone talk to you? Can I do anything to support you? Or if there's a family on the block that has a single parent, whether it's a single mom or dad, and you see them looking overwhelmed when they go in, you see them looking overwhelmed when they leave. can I take the kids out in front of the door and we can toss and blow ball and play a little bit? Is there something that we can do to support you? Then if there's nobody you feel that, because some people don't, know their neighbors too well, find a local Salvation Army, a food bank, a after school program, a Boys and Girls Club, something that there is a need. It doesn't matter what your economic status is. There's always someone that needs someone to encourage them, to give them a kind word, to give them a helping hand, or just stand beside them when they're going through a very difficult time.
Oh, you know what? I actually think you just gave us the greatest gift for the holidays. I was writing down what you just said, and I don't want anyone listening to miss this. I love, Nikki, that you started. I'm going to get a little emotional. And you said we start at home. Like, who in our own life, and even in our extended family members that might be going through a difficult time, what they need from us more than anything is unconditional love.
Yes.
And that just hit my heart. Look at me, I'm getting all emotional. And then you said, and I live in an area now, we live in Arizona, so there are a lot of senior citizens that move here or families put them here. And it's so interesting. A few weeks ago, I met somebody that has a parent here, and they said, you'd be amazed how many people don't come visit them. Yes. They're left alone. Yeah. And I just thought, just hearing you reiterate, I think I needed God to speak through you to remind me that there's places that we can begin, just go sit with them. Go be with them. You don't have, and I love that you said it doesn't matter what economic space you're in. This isn't about always giving money, right? I heard something once, and I think we all know this. You can give time, treasure, or talent.
Yes.
People need us.
Yes, they do. We need one another. Yeah. We need one another. See, I don't think people understand that we don't think beyond our own space. We need one another, because this is what I say to people. It may be you today, but it may be me tomorrow. So when you create connection, right, that there is a space and environment where people see that you're transparent, you have empathy and compassion and love, you become a person that they trust.
Yes.
With the most vulnerable places and spaces in their lives. Because the one thing they know, that whatever Nikki says or Holly says she's going to do, she's going to do it. And I'm not saying that you share and spill all your personal information, but what you can say is, you know what, Holly, I want you to know I appreciate you today. I thank God for everything that you've done, because of you, in me, I find a strength. And that means that you can go to that person and say, you know what, I was having a hard day today. Come, bring it in. Having a hard day. Come on, bring it in. Give me a hug. I'm a hugger. I'm telling everybody.
Yeah, hug it out. I'm a hugger too. We hugged each other the minute we met. We're like, I have to hug you.
So it is rewarding. It's like medicine to your soul. And again, we create a space where the one thing I give honor to God for, there is nowhere I can be or nowhere I can go that when people say, I know her, or there's something about her, that it's always something positive. I'm not boasting on myself, but it gives me a beautiful feeling to know that I am somebody that somebody other than myself trusts, right?
Totally. It's just, it's kind of like in some ways, Nikki, it's a little bit of an accountability, because I do believe people like you and I and a lot of the amazing people we get to meet in our journey, I do believe that I'm big on accountability, and I like to sometimes make myself verbally accountable, only because I know if I tell somebody, I'm going to hold myself to doing it.
Yeah.
Right. It's easy to think you're going to do all these things, but you can kind of bow out if you've never owned it and said anything to somebody. So I would like to challenge listeners, and I would love for anybody after you listen to this episode and to let us know. I always say, come out. I'll let you know how to reach out to Nikki here in a second. But I always leave messages on the website at hollydowling.com, at iTunes, but take this challenge, make a commitment for this holiday season, regardless of where you live in the world, regardless of your religion and your culture, before December 31st, 2017, make a commitment to get out of self and do something for someone else. And the commitment is verbalize and tell at least one person what you're going to do, and you will see magic begin. You will actually, your feet and your heart will go into motion, right? That you'll begin to do it, because now you've said you're going to do it. Right, girl?
Yes, and that's true. And I want to take just a few minutes to say something to you, Holly. Thank you. Thank you for allowing yourself and God to dictate your life in such a way that you're bringing healing, you're bringing love, you're bringing stability, you're bringing compassion, and you're bringing a spirit of peace to people. Because this world is a very, very volatile place right now. Yeah. And people are starting to become numb to each other, themselves, family, and people and spaces around them. It is people like yourself that all that negativity that comes is a way of just like a sonic boom and creating a space that it has to go away. So I just want to thank you so much. And my prayer in my heart is that God continue to strengthen you in your mind, body, soul, and heart. One thing I will say, when people have a mantle to change the lives of others, it can sometimes become a very lonely space and place. But my heart and my desire is that God continuously put people around you who understand, so that they can hold your hands and your arms up so that you continue to change the world around you. So I love you. I am so honored to be here today. And whatever you need from me, my commitment is to you right now. And it's always good to have witnesses.
Oh, you have just, Nikki, the name of my show is The Celebration of You. So I get to celebrate amazing people like you. And I feel like I just sat here again, eyes closed, little tears coming up, because I'm like, you're celebrating me. Thank you. Like, I'm just sitting here going, oh, thank you. Thank you. We all need, that was such a gift. And I thank you for that, because sometimes it's just a reminder that in the midst of all the chaos and the noise and all the stuff that can keep us from following that guidance and following our mission, it's easy to get off track. So you gave me the words I needed to stay on track. And so I love you. I thank you. And before we wrap this up, though, I always like to ask one question, and I'm going to go. I typically will ask my guests, and you have no idea that I'm going to do this right now.
No.
I'm going to go back to your 20-year-old self, being that you became a parent at 17. Yes. You grew up very fast, you and your husband. Yes. What advice would you give your 20-year-old beautiful self based on who you are today and what you know today? What advice would you give her if you could?
To continuously believe in yourself, continuously to know your self-worth, and always be true to you.
Beautiful. I love it. And that is my love. What a way to wrap this up. So for anybody that wants to learn more about you, if they have questions, Nikki, if they just want to reach out to you to respect your, your privacy or whatever, please tell everybody, how can they reach out to learn more about you?
The best place to reach out to me, because I think it kind of epitomizes everything I do every day, is my Facebook page. I am the only one on Facebook, and my name on Facebook is Nikki, Nikki Smith, Smith, Bagby, Bagby. That's Bagby, like a bag and saying goodbye. Bagby. So
that's
Nikki
great.
Smith Bagby, because I'm on my page all day. I love, just encouraging people. We have a lot going on around the nation. So you can just hit me up on my Facebook page and I'll respond to you right away.
Oh, and you know what I love? And let her know that you heard her share her story on this show, Celebration of You. And, I'm going to add an extra bonus for anybody that reaches out to you, Nikki. I've never done this with a guest yet. This is crazy. This is coming over me. And I think it's because it's the holidays. Yeah. But my book, the Hollyisms book, is really a book that I felt, again, led. It's a bunch of my favorite inspirations and a mini journal. And for anybody that reaches out to you, or they can go to the website when they've heard this, click on free gift, and it will generate a discount code for the book. And I want anybody that listens to this show to get a discount so they can get that book, and anything else that we can continue to do to share the love and be there. I believe both Nikki and I come from a place of, we're here to give hope and inspiration, and whatever that looks like, we want to be that rock. Right, dear?
Absolutely. Yes. And whatever she says. I'm going with her.
Whatever she says. And I can't, but I have to say a huge shout out to Baird Financial, Kristen,
Yay!
Pat, Natalie, all the amazing people that had I not been asked to speak there, I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to meet you, Nikki. So thank you. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love you, Holly.
Oh, I love you. Thank you for joining me for another awesome celebration of you. If you were inspired by this story, please share it with your family and friends and hashtag Your Story Matters. I'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment on iTunes. And absolutely, please come to my website, hollydowling.com. Leave a comment there too, and while you're there, pick up your free gift. Most importantly, though, just remember that your life is a gift from God. What you do with it is your gift back.